is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. It's time for Dolphins football. Welcome to the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins Pregame Show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. EJDConstruction.com is a fully insured liability and workers' comp. Call Eric if you need a custom home builder or general contractor. 305-433-4843. Here's your host, the Big O.
You know, every day, Eric there at EJDConstruction.com, they build monsters all the time for you for custom home construction and major home remodeling. And guess what? Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, and company are doing the same thing, man. Except they're not contractors, but they're kind of football contractors. And they're building up a special season, man. I'm just, I listen, this is just an extension from last year. And that to me is where we got people all over the country now getting on the bandwagon. All the Dolphins are the upstart team. All the Dolphins are people picking the Dolphins and all that crap. And hey, listen, man, you guys want to get on the bandwagon? Go ahead, get on with the rest of us. That we've been fans from the get-go, so it doesn't matter whether they win or lose. We follow the team and all that good stuff. And we've seen a lot of bad football for a long time. But this is just an extension from last year. See, the problem is that we have a lot of people that just don't want to admit that they were just wrong about last year. That's really what went on. Last year was a really good football team. The problem is they had a whole bunch of injuries, and that derailed their season. It wasn't because they were a bad team or mediocre or average. They were above average. Problem is they were just littered with too many injuries, and they were at least able to overcome those injuries and get to the playoffs. And now they're much healthier than they were last year, and they still have a couple people, and who knows, maybe they get Teron back now. We'll see. There's a couple of injuries. They're not fully healthy yet. And obviously, once they get Jalen Ramsey back, it is going to get nasty for this team. The good thing about Jalen Ramsey is that his position is a lot easier for him to make a transition. Plus, he's kind of played that joker role that Fangio is going to have him in. So he has experience doing that. The beauty of when Ramsey comes back is that everybody will finally be comfortable in the defense. And that's something that they're not. See, you're watching on the Mike McDaniel side, everybody on offense is pretty much comfortable because everybody is back for a second year. There's a couple of guys that are kind of new to it. Isaiah Wynn, there's a couple of guys, but very few on offense. You're trying to bring along, and trying to, you don't have half the team, 3/4 of the offense, trying to catch up. That was last year. Last year, everybody was trying to catch up, and Tyreek told you he didn't know the whole offense, and Tua was honest enough because that's the normal thing. They don't tell us this, but a lot of players don't know their entire playbooks the first year. It usually takes them 2 to 3 years, actually, sometimes to really know the playbook like it's a language, like it's English. And like those of us that speak two languages, you ever seen when somebody is, sometimes you're better in one language than another. Anybody that speaks two languages, you know exactly what I'm about to tell you. You know, sometimes when you're better with one language than the other, and you end up translating it in your mind in the language that your strength is. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. So you got that going on here. And so once it gets to that point, then the defense takes off. So they get that break for now because they're learning. You know what I'm saying? But on offense, they're building something that is absolutely special. And this is a team that is headed for an opportunity to be great. Remember, those of you might be a little too young. Those of you that are old enough, Jimmy Johnson, in his, desire to be a Miami Dolphins head coach, did his best to trash Shula during those TV post-game, pre-game shows and all that kind of stuff. And he finally got his opportunity. And when he got his opportunity, he promised the Dolphin fans that they were going to be special. That was the line. I have it somewhere. I have to go find that and resurrect that. I got to go find where Jimmy Johnson says, we're going to be special. Because it's funny now. It's really hilarious because he was far from it. And so it's interesting that, 20-something years later is what it took, because now you got the shot to be special. Now you've got the front office. Now you've got the head coach. Now you've got the quarterback. Now it looks like, considering how bad offensive lines are around the league, this one looks like it might be serviceable enough to get you done. I'm not telling you it's going to be a dominant line or anything, but it looks like it can be decent. And especially when you get Armstead back, man, if he plays today, that's going to be fantastic. So you got some of the best weapons, if not the best group of weapons in the NFL. You got a boatload of talent. You got a secondary that once you get Jalen Ramsey back can be incredibly special. Okay, because when Kohu is your nickel, that is scary shit. And if Cam Smith is in there and he's in a groove and he's your fourth guy, or Eli, you got depth now all of a sudden. There's a lot of things that are developing. And that's why I say that, you can call EJD Construction to build you an efficiency or a second floor or whatever it is you need to do. The construction that's been going on with the Miami Dolphins has been something pretty sweet, man. And I just want, and I've told you, right? I've been pretty consistent about this for a while now. For the last year, I've been telling you, put away your past, all the pain that you suffered, that we all suffered, watching the Joe Philbin teams and the Cam Cameron teams and the Dave Wanstead teams, and just watching us waste our time, waste talent, wasting Jason Taylor's talent and Zach Thomas's talent and Tim Bowens and Pat Surtain. And, just it goes on and on and on and on. The guys that have come through here, and we've watched them waste their talents here. That's not happening anymore. Now it's actually building to something. So I keep trying to tell you, enjoy it. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy the training camp. Enjoy Zach Thomas getting inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Enjoy preseason. Enjoy the moments that people are eating crow. Okay? All of that kind of stuff. Enjoy it, man. You deserve it. Every single Dolphins fan around the entire world deserves this. You deserve a lot more. You deserve a lot more success than what we're seeing right now. But my point is that enjoy it. Stop allowing the talk shows. Well, the less of them are talking crap about the Dolphins and talking less crap about Tua and all that. Now they're all these phonies now, right, that we see all over the place. Some of them are local phonies too, by the way, that they were wrong and all that. And they're kind of turning their tune now. They're realizing, wow, I was wrong about Chris Grier. I was wrong about Tua. I was wrong about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert lost to Tannehill today. Justin Herbert lost to Ryan Tannehill today. Justin Herbert had the ball in his hands at the end of the game. And, at least he got the field goal. I'll give him that. But then in overtime, 3 and out, that's where's the 7, bro? You had enough time. You got big, giant receivers. You're the big, jolly green giant, right? Back there. It's amazing. So enjoy, because there's a lot of people eating a lot of crow right now about Justin Herbert, about Tua Tagovailoa, about Mike McDaniel, about the Miami Dolphins, all of that. I watched Peter King from 1 week go from a complete disbeliever and watching him this week to a complete believer. You know what I'm saying? And, it's all there, dude. It's all there. But I just tell you to enjoy it. That's what you have to do. You have to enjoy this. And don't get bogged down with the negativity. This is an extension from last year. Last year was all about bad luck. I'm not telling you they would have won the Super Bowl. I think they can win it this year. I think they've got the talent now. They've come, it reminds me a lot of crypto. And I know this is going to be an analogy that a lot of people aren't going to get, but I'll give you, there's a company called Cardano. And right now it's somewhere in the 25-cent range. Okay. And it got up to like $3 and during the last bull run. But when it got up to the $3 at that point, it wasn't ready to really perform. It didn't have DeFi ready to go. It didn't have its blockchain all set up. It didn't have a metaverse. It wasn't involved in Web3 like it is now. It's not involved in gaming like it is now. It didn't have its stable coin like it has now. And so it's funny and how it inflated to $3 when it had no business being valued at that. This time around, when the bear market rolls, when the bull market rolls, now Cardano's going to explode because it has everything in place to explode now as a business, right? So personally for me, not a financial advisor, I just keep collecting Cardano. You know what I mean? Because I know where it's going. At least that's what I feel, right? It's just my feeling. And as a business now, it is absolutely ready to explode. So in 2024, I expect it to explode and into 2025, right? The Dolphins didn't have everything in place. Now you've got everything in place. Now you've got an offense, and this is how you win in this league. Your defense doesn't have to necessarily be a shutdown defense. It has to get timely stops like it did last week. Got to do a better job than last week, but I'll give you a shitty example by using last week. But you're going to win with offense. You're going to win with passing. And now Tua knows the entire playbook. He is super comfortable. He's coming to the line. He knows exactly what he wants to do. Tua knows Tyreek knows exactly how to run the route that Mike McDaniel wants you to run, how deep, when to make the cut, the timing of it behind it, whether it's Waddle, him, the tight ends, whatever. Everybody's more comfortable. All the offensive linemen. Austin Jackson has been practicing in the same position now for over a year now, right? And going into his second year now. So he is tuned in there. Connor Williams stays there. You got your left tackle, Robert Hunt has stayed at right guard. All of these things have kind of fallen into place. Durham Smythe, you see him get active. Well, of course, who knows the offense better than Durham Smythe right now? Nobody. So once you get Julian Hill back, great, or whatever, and I like Julian Hill, but again, Durham Smythe knows the offense. So you watch him. That's why he's going to be active. That's why they're going to use him, because he's comfortable. All your running backs pretty much know the offense, except the two youngins that you brought in A-Chain and Chris Brooks. And Brooks, by the way, showed a little faster than A-Chain, I would say, in understanding the blocking scheme and when to hit the holes. Very, very good, because his scheme he came from is similar. So he kind of has the same kind of thinking already. So that's my point, that now you've got things that are falling into place. And you didn't really have that last year. Last year you were Cardano in the first bull run without all the real business angles in place. Now, the Dolphins are Cardano with everything in place and ready for a bull run. Okay? And that's where I keep telling you, stop listening to the outsiders. They have to sell papers, okay, or whatever they do on the internet. The talk shows, they have to get you to watch. So they're going to get you to, and they're going to want to say stupid things and try to create controversies where there's no controversies. And this player said this, and this coach said that, and they've got, that's what they do. You know what I mean? So we kind of go down the boring line. We kind of tell you just what's actually really happening. And that's it. And we don't play the hypotheticals, and we don't create, any controversy where there isn't any controversy, or, that's not the point. Sean and I are not, employed by a corporation. So we're not here to impress them constantly or anything like that. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is you're watching and listening and viewing too many people that they're there for a show and not for the facts, And then there's some other folks that you probably shouldn't even be listening to, reading, watching, whatever, because they really don't know what the hell they're talking about. So please enjoy this. And this is going to be a good one tonight. This is going to be fantastic tonight. Tua's 4-0 against Bill Belichick. And we're going to have Christopher Price from the Boston Globe, my buddy. He's been covering the Patriots now for 19 years for the Boston Globe. Does an excellent job. C. Price Globe on Twitter. And we'll get his thoughts on what's going on with the Patriots, because from afar, for me, it just feels like it's a team that the franchise that the wheels are coming off, and that Belichick slowly but surely is kind of losing grip. But we'll see, and we'll get his thoughts on it, because, since the Brady divorce, Brady has kind of proven that he was the difference maker out of the entire thing, more than him. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell because Belichick can't get anything on the offensive side going. Defense, he's always been a great defensive mind. That's never changed all the way back to the days with the Giants. No, everybody's always respected Belichick for defense. But you look at the offense and all the shenanigans that have gone on since Brady, and whether you think you have the right quarterback or not, I don't think you do. I think you got a jag there in Mac Jones. And everything that went on from Matt Patricia last year to even the mess this year with Bailey Zappa as your number 2, and you cut him, and you've got no 2, and then you bring the South Carolina, is it the South Carolina kid, right? What is it, Matt Cassell, right, or something? And he walks out on your ass. So you got to bring Zappy back, and it's just everything about what the Patriots do. It's offensively, it just doesn't seem like there's a rhyme or a reason to it, And you had to bring back Bill O'Brien, and it's just because you made such a freaking dumbass mistake last year, It's weird. It's just something that I just kind of think that times are changing. Times are changing, and the loss of Brady for him has become something that has kind of exposed him in that sense, because he's not Joe Gibbs. He may think he's Joe Gibbs, but he's not Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs had a system and was able to plug in one person after another and have success, but nobody's been able to do that since Joe Gibbs. So, it's a weird thing. Really is. Dalvin Cook is cooked. Greer knew it and wasn't going. Well, listen, man, I didn't want Dalvin Cook from the get-go anyways, because, unless you can get him for really cheap, you're not going to overpay for a guy that's going to be part of a carousel of backs. Nobody was going to make him the number 1, and that's the problem with some Dolph fans, that you just really don't understand what's going on. So you keep thinking like a fan or a fantasy fan or you think this is 20 years ago or whatever it is. But, I don't know what his stats are today, but they have no quarterback now. So you don't fear the Jets offense at all now because the Milf Wilson just, he doesn't show you like, oh my God, I got to respect this guy and all that kind of stuff. So you can unload on him. And it's kind of what's gone on with the Dolphins for many, many years until you got Tua. Zach Wilson is their leading rusher, 5 for 36. Breece Hall's a stud, 4 for 9. Michael Carter, 2 for 8. Dalvin Cook, 4 for 7. Yeah. Well, hey, man, listen, he wanted his money, right? That's the beauty of the story of the Jets. This is an incredibly stupid-ass franchise that put a 40-year-old quarterback behind the worst line in the NFL, if not one of the 3 worst lines in the NFL. We're splitting hairs, but the Jets are easily one of the 3 worst lines in the NFL. So you did that, and then you go spend $8.6 million on a running back when your line sucks. You didn't need another running back, dude. You needed another lineman. You should have gone and traded for, done whatever. If you're really all in, well then, dude, sacrifice and go overpay for somebody else's lineman or something. That's what you should have been doing all offseason. Build a hell of a wall in front of Aaron Rodgers. He's 40. He's got a bad calf, can't move, and look what ends up happening to him because you're a bunch of freaking losers. And because a lot of you, just probably like Jet fans too, you're living in the past thinking that the running game is like the most important thing or something. And the running game is just not that important anymore. It's a complimentary thing. You can run all you want. You're going to lose to the better quarterback every single time. Every single time. I did a piece like that this week on that on the show. That's why Dolphin fans have got to calm down. Why? You have the better quarterback now more often than not. You were never able to say that as a Miami Dolphins fan. Ever. You have to go back to 13. You rarely, no, you never said it when all these other quarterbacks that you had rarely ever said, oh, we got the better quarterback. Never. He had a fumble. Will, and you know how it is, Will. You're in the business, obviously, with Cutter's Edge Pro. There's a bait and switch that goes on out there. And sometimes people sell you one thing and then they give you another, right? Like when you call Cutter's Edge Pro and you're going to buy a Sylvester palm tree, you're going to get like a real palm tree, right? Thick, healthy. You buy it somewhere else, you might pay close to the same amount of money, and it's going to be like a little tree like this, and you get bait and switch. Well, you think you're getting the same thing, but you're not. You're getting gypped. And that's what Dalvin Cook is. When you already have a running back or two, why are you adding Dalvin Cook? It's not really going to add anything. He's not going to put you over the top. When did he put Minnesota over the top? It's the same shit that goes on with Ndamukong Suh. And I got into arguments with people at the station when I was at QAM with that because they were homers and thinking about the team only and playing the pom-poms and, oh, he's going to change the complexion of the entire defense. And I said, no, he's not. That's not the kind of player he is because he wasn't. So it's like, it's not a real traditional bait and switch like the palm tree stuff. But it's a bait and switch in your mind because you think you're getting something and you're really not. And a lot of you out there are thinking that Dalvin Cook was the difference maker, and he ain't the difference maker for shit. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Any media member, writer, radio, TV, or Doll fan that was saying, oh, Dalvin Cook puts you over the top. That's as ridiculous and uneducated when it comes to football as it gets. Okay? Derrick Henry can't put Tennessee over the top. Do you know why? Because you need this guy. It's about this guy, not that guy. I'm watching the red zone today because I rarely get to watch the red zone. And at the beginning of the game, the guys, whoa, it's Anthony Richards' second rushing touchdown and his first concussion. Keep running, boy. Keep running. Go ahead, boys. Keep running your ass off. Keep doing it. You're going to run your ass into a concussion. Josh Allen, another freaking moron. Nobody's dumber than Josh Allen. I get it with Lamar because he's got to run, kind of, although he put a really nice fade today in the corner, but he can't do it on a consistent basis. So he's got to run. So I get it. And Josh Allen's erratic too. By the way, I am not wrong anymore on my thing. I thought Josh Allen proved me wrong. I was right. I'm no longer wrong anymore. When you're inaccurate, you will stay inaccurate for the rest of your life. Okay? You don't change your accuracy. You may have some moments because you're a great athlete, right? Like these guys, Josh Allen, they're jumping in the air again. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead. Be an idiot. Anthony Richardson, be an idiot. Lamar Jackson, be an idiot. You guys want to keep running? Run. Go ahead. You'll end up injured and you don't win shit. There's no championships for running quarterbacks. None. You better learn to win from the pocket. And that's what Lamar Jackson has failed to do. That's what Josh Allen, that's why he sucks in the playoffs. So does Lamar Jackson, by the way. That's why they suck in the playoffs, because if you're going to depend on your legs, at that point, the better defenses are there. They're going to limit your runs. They're going to limit Derrick Henry, and they're going to tell you, hey, you got to beat us from the pocket. And that's where Ryan Tannehill and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Anthony Richardson and all of these running quarterbacks, these boys want to keep running. They're going to keep proving to me exactly what happens to the rest of them, just like Cam Newton. They're going to break your ass. Every once in a while, you'll have some success because you're a great athlete, but you're never going to win if you don't have this. So the stupidity of Dalvin Cook is the difference, or Saquon Barkley, or what was the other idiot Jonathan Taylor, right? That's the dumbest thing in the world, to think that the running back is what's going to put you over the top since you lost Marino. How in the world can you think that? You had Ricky Williams here. What happened? You had Lamar Smith here for a season and did a great job, and Jay Ajayi did it for a season. Ricky did it for a couple years. What did that get you, dude? What was the missing element? Oh, the quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. So Dalvin Cook fumbling today, I feel bad for him and all that stuff, but I'm not surprised. Running ain't going to get you anywhere in this league. Why don't you just go build a 2-point offense in the NBA too? See how that goes for you. Go get a bunch of DeMar DeRozans. Enjoy yourself. I'll counter with a bunch of Stephs and Duncan Robinsons and all kinds of 3-point shooters, and I'll just shoot your ass right off the court because the game changed. And a lot of you need to change with the times. That's the problem. And that's why this stupid-ass stuff with Dalvin Cook and Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor and that stupidity of trying to trade for the guy and give up picks and give up big money. Dumb. Luckily, they have a real general manager. Okay? If you had Mike Tannenbaum here, you might have had one of those running backs here. And guess what? He would have added nothing whatsoever. Not one more win whatsoever. Jonathan Taylor would not mean one more win. Dalvin Cook would not mean one more win, and neither would Saquon Barkley. Not one win whatsoever. But hey, Mike Tannenbaum might have made some of you happy. Thank the Lord, Chris Grier did not. I pulled it up today just to have some fun. If you can pull it up there, Sean, because we're about to get Christopher Price on here. He's about to chime in. About 4 years ago, January 4th of 2019, I wrote an article because we were at a crossroad with Gase and Tannenbaum and all that kind of stuff. And I was working for The Athletic then, writing as a columnist. And the article, obviously, you can still find it in on Google there if you search. There it is right there. And I wrote that it was time to finally make the change, because I had been talking about the last couple years. I'd been talking about Chris Grier because they never really put him in charge. It's always he's on the side, and they never really, minority, whatever, all that crap. And so I said, look, this is the guy. His dad was, his dad, we're playing the Patriots today, right? His dad was the key guy in the drafting of Brady. He was in the personnel department then for the Patriots. Chris Grier's dad. So, and Chris Grier's brother was a stud hockey player and all that stuff. And Chris Grier is a guy that I'm at the Las Vegas Football Classic. I'm at the Orlando Gridiron. I'm at the East-West Shrine. I'm at the Senior Bowl. I'm at the Combine. And I'm watching that guy grind, bro, all over the place with his Dolphin hat all over, and over the years, and we're talking 20, I'm asking about the guy, and I only got positive stuff about him. And so that's why I always said that was the guy to bring aboard. And so far, he's made one hell of a difference. One hell of a difference. All right, give me 1 minute. Quick break. We'll come back. Christopher Price. We're going to get the latest on the Patriots as they get ready to take on the Dolphins tonight at 8:20. Christopher Price works for the Boston Globe. You can follow him on Twitter at @CPriceGlobe. In 60 seconds, Christopher Price joins us right here on the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show.
You're listening to Miami Dolphins coverage on the Sports Talk 305 network, brought to you by EJDconstruction.com. This is the Miami Dolphins pregame show with Orlando Alzugaray.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Welcome back to the best coverage of Miami Dolphins football on any platform. This is the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 network. Here's your host, Orlando Alzugaray.
As promised, there you see. Why are you so worried about the video? You look sharp, dude. Come on. Look at you. How you doing, man? You doing good?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to a good ball game tonight.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Although, and by the way, Christopher Price, follow him on Twitter at CPriceGlobe. You can catch his work there for the Boston Globe and cover the Patriots for nearly 20 years. And Chris, from afar, it just looks kind of discombobulated what's been going on there for the last 2 years, with the whole Patricia stuff, and then even up to this year with the whole backup quarterback mess, going on. And then we see Brady have the success, and it just seems like they can't find their way offensively. He's still a master on defense, and he always has been since he was a Giants, coach. We know that. But, man, it just looks like afar things are coming apart because he can't figure out the offensive side of the kitchen.
I will say this, my guy. So far, things have looked okay this year, and a lot of that is due to the arrival of Bill O'Brien. The fact that they have a guy in here now who is a certified offensive mind as opposed to the system that they had last year. And look, the bar admittedly is set really, really low, but the first game, guys weren't running into each other. They had some offensive, some execution problems early. They cleaned them up. Mac threw for over 300 yards. Kendrick Bourne caught a pair of touchdown passes. And so you'd like to think things are trending in the right direction. There's real hope here offensively as opposed to what they went through last year. But, as always, it's a work in progress.
What's the issue this week with Trent Brown and because they've got a bunch of guys that are banged up. City Sal, Andrews looks like he's going to be a go, but on Wayu also Strange. There's a lot of, it's like a mash unit right now on that O line. What are you expecting today? What kind of change?
It really is, buddy. I mean, when you look at this group and they struggle to stay healthy since the start of training camp, I will say this: they're trending in the right direction. You have David Andrews in the middle, rock solid, great guy. Ultimately, one of the most dependable offensive linemen they've had around here for an awful long time. You have Calvin Anderson, new guy at right tackle. Other than that, there's a lot of question marks. Michael Wenyu hasn't played since the end of the year last year. He missed last week. Cole Strange hasn't played since the end of the year last year. Went down early in training camp with a knee issue. Trent Brown has a concussion. Saidi Sal has a concussion. We know those two guys are definitely off the radar for tonight. The rest of them, who knows? Again, like I said, Wenyu, Strange, those guys are trending in the right direction. If they can get those guys healthy and they can go wire to wire tonight, they'll join a group of guys who were pretty good last week against a pretty good Philadelphia pass rush. So, again, the overriding theme is they're trending in the right direction. We'll see when the inactives are announced shortly.
Well, Trent Brown obviously probably will be out here. Miami's left tackle is out because the latest, the inactives are out. Julian Hill, Teron Armstead, Elijah Campbell, Jalen Phillips is out. Cedric Wilson Jr., Kelvin Joseph, Skylar Thompson, obviously the third. So tell me, that Vidarian Lowe looks like will be the starter. What do we know about Vidarian Lowe?
Journeyman. Yeah, and I'm being generous here when I say journeyman. I will say this. One of the things that they were able to do last week effectively, they were able to get their young tackle, their tackles, some help with the addition of Pharaoh Brown, a tight end, really in name only, who's basically an extra tackle. He saw a lot of reps last week. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him in the hip pocket of one of these tackles, specifically on the left side. Again, he's not going to be a guy who's going to go wire to wire, but he's going to be a guy who's going to play a role tonight when it comes to pass protection for Mac. But yeah, Lowe, strictly a journeyman type. If they can get someone on the other side, on to the right side of the left tackle, at left guard, if Cole Strange can come back, then that's a big step in the right direction for this group. He can also help out Lowe on the left side.
So are you expecting a lot of max protect here tonight?
Yeah, I would say that there's going to be an awful lot of max protect. Look, I'll also say this. If they can get the offensive line rolling, I feel good about where their run game is. Zeke Elliott, Ramondre Stevenson, that's a really good combination against, as you know, a Miami run defense that kind of struggled last week. And so I think the New England game plan, really, if they can get a consistent performance out of that offensive line, you can run the ball, you can slow the game down because they don't want to get into track meets. They don't want to go, 45-38 with Miami. They want to keep this game in the 20s. And if the offensive line is healthy, that's where I think they're going to be able to keep it.
Yeah, they even activated an extra defensive tackle hand for this matchup and another linebacker. I think they know that Ramondre Stevenson is coming, and they're going to use him a lot tonight, I would imagine, because they also want to keep that offense off the field. So
Yeah.
I would imagine the Patriots are going to try to limit as many possessions as possible with Miami.
Big O, the game plan really is something that we've seen around here an awful lot, except it's been on the other side of the ball. The best way to beat the Tom Brady era Patriots, keep Tom Brady off the field. So I think what you're going to see from New England, you're going to see a team that's going to be slowing the game down, going to be trying to take an awful lot of time off the clock, and they're going to keep Tua and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill off the field for as long as possible. Try and put together some 6, 7, 8-minute drives and just control the flow of the game, control the tempo.
So, Chris, where were you with Tua before, now, after? Where were you with him? Were you ever a disbeliever of his ability? Availability was always a question, always will be a question. It'll be a question from 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even if he's playing. That'll be something that he'll have to carry with him for the rest of his life, unfortunately. But where were you with Tua? Are you a believer or disbeliever?
When he's healthy, I'm all in. I think that there's a lot to like about Tua. And I also, frankly, I think it's to his advantage that he's the only lefty starter in the National Football League. And I think that plays a role in game planning. I think it makes him unique. I think it makes the Miami offense unique. I'm not saying it's a complete game changer, but I think it's something that other teams, including New England, have to account for. I talked to some guys here this week about what it means to play a left-handed quarterback and how it's different, and how you have to game plan differently, and how you have to approach things differently. So look, I'm all in. I know availability is the big question mark, and it's going to be, like you said, the biggest question mark with him. But there's a lot to like about Tua and what he brings to the field.
Dude, we're not used to it. The Dolphins are favored by 2.5 in New England, brother. Wow. So what's the prediction, Christopher Price of the Boston Globe? What happens tonight? Who wins?
I think New England ends up winning this thing, just barely. And I'm talking about like 2-3 points, whether it's at the buzzer, whether it's a special teams miscue. I think the New England special teams is a lot better than it's been the last couple of years. And I think that they're going to be able to run the ball. And I don't know how effectively they're going to be able to do it for all 60 minutes. But like you said, Ramondre Stevenson is coming. Zeke Elliott is coming. That offensive line, like I said before, at least is trending in the right direction. So I think New England wins this thing just barely. I'm going to say like 27-24.
C. Price Globe on Twitter. Catch his work there at the Boston Globe. Christopher, enjoy the time. Hey, no issues with the storm, right? Good?
All good, my friend. All good.
Yeah, because I've been watching the last week and a half, some of the water damage in some of the places, some of the flooding. And hell, I think I saw like there was an area where there was these families where they have several houses, but their entire bridge went down and they couldn't even get the hell out. They couldn't even, if they wanted to go anywhere, they couldn't, and all that stuff. So,
it's been a struggle. It's been surprising because we don't usually get extreme weather like that at the end of the summer. I mean, obviously snowstorms and winter and all that, that's all part of the conversation. But it's been a little dicey up here for a couple of months.
Hotter atmosphere. Hell of a lot more rain is coming, man. It's sad. Christopher, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you as always. Enjoy the game.
Take care. We'll see you soon, my friend.
Thank you. Christopher Price, baby, from the Boston Globe, kind enough to join us. So he likes the Patriots. I like the Dolphins in this one. Let's get into it a little bit. And by the way, again, the inactives for today. So Teron Armstead is out. So Kendall Lamb will get another chance to start. And I think that what they did this week with Teron Armstead was give him some playing time, some practice, see how his body responds. And then next week again, and maybe I think next week is the week that he starts to play, or at least he gets you ready for the Bills week, the following week after that, when we're in Vegas. Yes, sir.
No, I just wanted to say also is they had both of them on the field doing warm-ups or testing them on the field in New England. So they're not far from being, back. I'm just saying it's not like they left them here in Miami.
Dude, the thing is, there's no hurry. There's no hurry. Kendall Lamb has forced you to say, hey, wait a minute, bro. We got somebody that can do the job for you right now. We love you. We want you to be the starter. We know you're all pro, you're all world. When you play, we know what Teron Armstead is, but we actually have somebody now that can fill in for you and do a very respectable job and buy you time to get you closer to 100%. And maybe they can get more games out of you this year than last year or the years before when he was in New Orleans. So Teron Armstead is out. Julian Hill, my boy, is out. Elijah Campbell, remember I told you he was out last week and then week to week. Well, this week he's out. Jalen Phillips, who got onto the injury report on Friday with a back issue and practice on a limited basis. Jalen Phillips is out. Cedric Wilson, no surprise there. Kelvin Joseph, no surprise there. And Skylar Thompson is the other inactive. You know what? I have not seen the Patriot one. Have you seen the Patriot one there, Sean? There we go. Okay, I got my what's this? Nope, too late. Missed it. Okay. Anyway, see if I get the Patriots one. I would imagine that their left tackle is out. So let's get into what I think is what do you got for me?
I was trying to click on before you jumped into the next subject. I want to see Steve Grogan back tonight, just for the jerseys, just wearing the jersey.
Oh, they're wearing the old Patriot snapping the ball.
Yeah, throwbacks tonight. Yes,
God, I love that. That is one of the greatest throws of all time. Got to give it to him. Got to give it to him, bro. The Patriot snapping the ball. That is one of the badass logos of all time. Yeah, sometimes you got to tip your hat to somebody when they do something really well. And that logo, again, like our logo, you don't change it. But whatever, it is what it is. Not that their Patriot logo is that bad. That one's way better than that whale that the Dolphins came up with. But that old Patriot logo, that's a badass logo, bro. Badass logo. Kind of like the Bronco. Although the new one they came out with is not bad either. They did a decent job. I still like the Bronco coming out of the D. That one's cool. Not the original one. That was just that white Bronco that was all wide out. That one I didn't like that much. But anyways, it is what it is. I know we've had some super chats. Let's get to some of these super chats. Was Jose Lucas the first one? It was. Herbert and Burrow, 0-4. Yes, they are, Jose Lucas. Yes, they are. True Fin fan, thank you also for the super chat. Sent you something on Twitter, my brother. Okay, I got to, I'll check it out. But thank you for the love on the super chat. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo and send in your questions, your comments, your insults, even a compliment. Also there on Cash App and Venmo at Cash Big O Show. EM Baller sends in a super chat. He says, Herbert is great, but 0-2 is inexcusable, unclutch. He's not. He's an athletic Jeff George. Okay? That's all. For you youngins out there, ask your dad, your uncle, your grandfather, who's Jeff George? And then they'll give you the story of Jeff George. And they'll also tell you how talented he was too. Because, arm strength is everything. Having long hair is everything. It's beautiful. I mean, I should know that. Having long hair is a beautiful thing. Big O, can the Dolphins score 30-plus points tonight by halftime to Pat's 7 to 10 points so I can go to bed? Yeah, probably not going to happen, Zuko. No. It's going to be hard to score 30 points throughout the entire game. That's a good defense. It's a really good defense. Micah Parsons has single-handedly destroyed the Jets' O-line. Well, that's not necessarily the hardest thing in the world, by the way, to beat up on the Jets O-line. The Jets O-line it's as bad as it gets, okay? It really is. It's as bad as it gets. Yes, sir.
For the fantasy footballer Saquon Barkley, on the bench after limping off the field, surrounded by medical personnel, being examined on the sideline.
Saquon Barkley injured? Next thing you're going to tell me Odell Beckham left with some kind of an ankle injury or something. Get out of here. That never happens. It never happens. Herbert chokes. Saquon Barkley injured. Odell Beckham injured. Dalvin Cook. Nothing. All that stuff. What is that? What is the score of the Dallas and it's
30-10.
30-10. Wow. Yeah. But don't worry about it. They have this great defense that's so gutty, and they are going to work so hard all year long, and they're going to work hard for you all year, bro. They'll get it done for you. Don't worry.
All right, the Patriots inactives are in. At first, I thought they messed with me. They re-released the Dolphins, and I'm like, Jalen Phillips, what the? They redid the Dolphins inactive on their sheet. But then here it is. It is safety Amir Speed, cornerback Jonathan Jones, outside linebacker Anthony Jennings, tackle Saidi Sow.
Big loss.
Tackle Trenton Brown.
Big loss.
Wide receiver Keshawn Booty. And defensive end Sam Roberts.
Sam Roberts. Okay. All right. So there you go. So you've got your Patriots inactives, and they're missing their tackle. They're missing their two of their tackles because City Sal is a tackle, guard, whatever. Either way. So, by the way, tonight is the game where you say you want it, you ask for it, right? You ask for it, right? You want it, you ask for it. Well, then let's go. Get it done. Connor Williams, you wanted it. You asked for it, right? You wanted more money. You asked for it. You didn't get it. You know why? Because you're not good enough. Be good enough. Tonight, we can't have any setbacks from Connor Williams, or that could be the difference in the game. That's what this kind of team feeds off of. Stupid mistakes. Jason Sanders, you did a great job last week. You got the field goals done, although they were just inside the poles. But then when you had the most important kick, which was the extra point at the end of the game to make sure it's a 3-point contest, you shanked it, and you got a 2-point game now, and you put the entire game at risk. Luckily, you were facing a choker in Justin Herbert. Okay? I get it. Some people in town and people across the nation, they still drool all over Justin Herbert and all that. Now they don't do it as much anymore. Now they're kind of disappearing and they're finding out who the hell he is. But Jason Sanders, you want to keep your job? You want it? You asked for it? Let's go. Bring the heat, bro. Get it done. Christian Wilkins, you, along with the rest of that defense, failed to do your initial job last week, which was stop the run. Bill Belichick and Ramondre Stevenson are looking at this going, oh, my God. They look like Fred Flintstone with a knife and a fork and ready to hit that Brontosaurus burger. Licking chops. In fact, they may look more like Dino. They're hungry, bro. They want it badly. And that's because you guys displayed that you couldn't stop the run. So they're going to bring the hammer today. Christian Wilkins, you want the big money? Well, see, here's the fine line you got to walk, my man. First of all, you got to do your initial job. Then when you're done doing your initial job, then go get the sacks. So you can get your money. You want it? You ask for it? Let's go. Bring it. They signed Sealer basically to slap you right in the face, Christian Wilkins. Oh, wait a minute. So you want the kind of money they're paying the sack guys. So you want Quinnen Williams money, but we can't give you Quinnen Williams money because you're not a sack artist. So now what are you going to do about that? So Christian Wilkins, let's go. Get your initial job done, stopping the run, and then get after Mac Jones. But you can't allow Ramondre Stevenson to do his job today. I'm not so much worried about Zeke Elliott, but Ramondre Stevenson is a guy that I respect. That's a player, okay? Bradley Chubb. You want it? You asked for it? You got it, bro. You wanted out of Denver. You wanted to go to a better place. You wanted your money as a pass rusher. Well, you ended up, with 50 Cent last year in the club. Well, you're out of the club. And last week, you did nothing. This week, Jalen Phillips is out, and you're facing something called a Vidarian Lowe at left tackle. Not Trent Brown, Vidarian Lowe. And if you don't perform, then it is your low, Bradley Chubb. You want it? You asked for it? Let's go. Bring it. These are people that have put themselves in the spotlight for one reason or another. Pay me because I'm a good kicker. Well, show it to me. Pay me because I'm a pass rusher. Well, then show it to me. We paid you because you're a pass rusher. Produce it. And the other guy, pay me because I'm a center. Well, actually, you're not a good center. You can block your ass off. You're a great blocker, but you can't snap for shit. So they've all put themselves in the spotlight. They've all asked for it. They all want it. Well, now you got the heat. Now you got the expectations. And now you have the responsibility of coming through for your teammates and stop putting them in a bad position. And Bradley Chubb, there's no Jalen Phillips tonight. If there's a night that you're going to show up with a sack or two, it's tonight. If there's a night that you need to force a fumble, it's tonight. On the road in Foxborough, everyone watching on Sunday night. So Bradley Chubb, Christian Wilkins, Connor Williams, Jason Sanders. You want it? You asked for it? You got it, baby. Here comes the heat. Here comes the expectations. Time to deliver. Time to deliver. Remember, if your business wants to be a part of our platform, 786-754-4664. That's our business line. That's 786-754-4664. Next week, we will be at Walk-Ons for the Denver Broncos game. Okay? So we'll be there for pregame, getting you ready at 11 a.m. At Walk-Ons in Kendall. So we will see you there. We've got 4 dates there once a month over there. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. You can even make a Bitcoin donation. Billy Shaw, thank you for the love on Cash App. Appreciate you. He says for appreciation. Thank you, Billy Shaw. Thank you, sir. On Venmo, we get a little love. And let's see who sent it in. Greg Sashi, baby. Thank you. He says fins up. Appreciate you, Greg. Thank you as always. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Big O, you were right. Anthony Richardson got a concussion. What was I right about? Just said he had a concussion. I'm just saying that running quarterbacks, you don't win shit in this league, dude. You tease, you entertain, you're freakish, all that good stuff. But when push comes to shove, you're going to lose pretty much almost every time in key moments because the other team is going to have the better passer. And that's it. And that's what I like about the Dolphins now, that more often than not, they've got the better passer on the field. I can't wait to watch how this game is going to be played, man. How this game is going to be broken down between two guys that are pretty much geniuses in their own right. You know, obviously, Belichick is a defensive genius, and maybe it's too early to call Mike McDaniel a genius offensively, but he is definitely one of the brighter offensive minds right now going on in the NFL. And one of the guys that he just gets me. One of the reasons why I'm so excited. You know, I used to complain so much about play design and play call. There was no rhyme or reason with the shit that was going on here for the last couple of years. And when this guy came in last year, that's it, dude. You saw it right away. You saw it. This guy knows what the hell he's doing. He knows how to design an offense. He knows how to set up a defense. It's just really, he knows how to also design blocking schemes too, to make it easier for his linemen. Because that's part of the, you know, coaching is incredibly important in football because, yeah, it's a team game, but there has to be a synchronicity to it. Who do you think creates the synchronicity? The coach is the one that creates the synchronicity. Players don't create the synchronicity. Most of them aren't smart enough to create the synchronicity. They know exactly what to do individually, but collectively, they don't know how to play design and time it and all that. And that's where this guy comes in. That's where this guy's play design is just pure genius. And so he gives you the opportunity to have success. It's up to you now to make the plays, of course. But coaching is, I can't tell you enough how important it is to have great coaching. And we just never saw it here, especially on the offensive side of the ball. There were a few moments over the last 25 years. You know, Norv Turner was here. I thought Changeli, with the limited talent that he had, I thought he did a solid job. There were moments, but not like this guy. No, this guy gets what's going on in today's game in a big-time way. So this week, Trent Brown is out with the concussion. Sidney Sow is out with the concussion. David Andrews dealt with a hammy, was limited in practicing throughout the week, but he's playing with a hammy. Michael Onwenu, I remember seeing him for the first time at the East-West Shrine game a few years back. Limited practice with the ankle all week long. He's not inactive. Cole Strange also was not inactive, but he was limited all week long with the knee injury. Devontae Parker was not on that list. He was limited in practice with the knee. Jonathan Jones out with the ankle. That's a huge loss for them on the corner side, especially without Jonathan Jones now in the game. See, this is where it kind of gets interesting. And this is one of the battles that I like about tonight's game. One, you've got rookie Christian Gonzalez going up against Jalen Waddle. So safeties are going to have to be worried about that because Christian bit on double moves and he got faked a couple times last week. He's got skills. There's no doubt about it. And Belichick, more often than not, he knows what he's doing with defensive backs. He finds guys, but he's still green. So right now, Jalen Waddle going up against him. And then Jonathan Jones out. So then is it Marcus Jones that is going to have to run with Tyreek Hill? So can Marcus Jones handle Tyreek Hill? Because Jonathan Jones would have been the one that would have been in charge of Tyreek Hill. Now you've got a backup running against Marcus Jones. Going against Tyreek Hill. So at the same time as they're licking the chops, watching the film, saying, wow, we can run all over these guys. And Ramondre Stevenson is saying, all right, coach, give me the ball. And they're going to want to run to keep Tua off the field. And that'll be so important if they can get off the field quickly, because if Miami's offense can get on the field and score some points early on and put pressure on the Patriots, this game they'll be in the driver's seat the entire time. The entire time they will be in the driver's seat. All right, let's take what do you got? What do you got, Sean?
I want to ask because I don't know enough about the gambling side of things, but the point spread had dropped from 2.5 to 1.5.
Wait, you broke up there. The point spread dropped from 3 to 2.5. I saw that.
Now it's down to 1.5. Right now it's at 1.5 after the inactives, I guess, because I checked it before we went live and it was still at 2.5. And now I just checked it because I saw somebody say it. It's down to 1.5 right now.
Wow. Listen, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a betting expert. Okay. I took the Dolphins last week and the money line. I took the Dolphins laying 2.5 and the money line. I'm going to take the Dolphins and minus 1.5 right now. I'm going to look it up. Let's do this. Give me 2 minutes so we can come back. Hour number 2 of the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. We'll come back on the other side. And when we do, I'm going to give you the key, the entire key to this matchup. We will discuss that when we come back right here on the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show.
You're listening to Miami Dolphins coverage on the Sports Talk 305 network, brought to you by EJDconstruction.com. This is the Miami Dolphins pregame show with Orlando Alzugaray.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. It's time for Dolphins football. Welcome to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. EJDconstruction.com is a fully insured liability and workers' comp. Call Eric if you need a custom home builder or general contractor. 305-433-4843. Here's your host, the Big O.
Alrighty. By the way, the Cowboys right now are leading the New York Jets 30-0 in that game. Commanders are leading the Broncos 35-24, dude. How about that?
The Jets got
10 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, man. What do you got, Sean? What are you going to say?
The Jets actually got 10 points. You had them at 30-0. At 30
I'm sorry, 30-10. I'm sorry. That's right. I'm sorry.
Don't take away Zach Wilson's progress.
Exactly. Russell Wilson, by the way, 2 touchdowns, interception, 230 yards. Marvin Mims Jr., 113 yards and a touchdown. But wow, the Washington Redskins are looking to go 2-0. I was a Sam Howell guy. I thought that's a kid that's got a little something to him, man. Him and Kenny and Pitts for Pickett from Pittsburgh. Those are two ACC quarterbacks, and I thought, they can get it done. Zach Wilson, by the way, a monster today for the Jets. 12 of 27, 170 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. You thought it was going to be Dak Prescott throwing all the interceptions. Well, he threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. CeeDee Lamb has 143 yards. Garrett Wilson does have 2 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown. And Dalvin Cook is a monstrous 4 carries for 7 yards. He's such a difference maker. All you Dolphin fans out there, Dalvin Cook, he's such a difference maker. But Big O, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. Dalvin Cook will change the entire offense. He's amazing. He's so Barry Sanders-like. Yeah, Dalvin Cook. That's really good stuff there, Dalvin Cook. Anyway, Rams are lost to the Niners, 30-23. Giants ended up beating the Cards. The Giants are frauds. The Cards are bigger frauds, 31-28 in that one. So got all that going on. And then the earlier games, Tannehill beat Herbert 27-24 in overtime. The great Justin Herbert is 0-2. Falcons are 2-0. They beat the Packers 25-24. Bijan Robinson had 124 yards. Desmond Ridder, 19 of 32, 237 yards, a touchdown, an interception. Jordan Love threw 3 touchdowns and 151 yards, but they lost, unfortunately. Bills cruise over the Raiders, 38-10. Josh Allen is still an idiot the way he plays the game, which good for them. Eventually, they'll lose him. Bengals are 0-2, and clearly, Joe Burrow, no practice, no preseason, no training camp. He didn't play for 6 weeks. The guy's completely out of whack. Ravens are 2-0 now with the win, 27-24. Burrow was 27 of 41, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Lamar Jackson, 24 of 33, 237, 2 touchdowns, 12 rushes for 54 yards. Odell Beckham, no shocker, left the game with an ankle injury. What do you got there, Sean? What were you going to say? What do you got? What's happening?
Also, I think Burrow re-aggravated the calf also during the game.
Yes,
and then also another to add injury on top of everything else. Garrett Wilson at the end of the game was being looked at, so the Jets might have also lost Garrett Wilson.
Wow. Yeah. And Mayfield and the Bucs are 2-0. The Bears are 0-2. Justin Fields just if he don't fix and you don't fix accuracy, because Josh Allen never fixed accuracy. That's a lie. He can be accurate at times, and that's because he's a great athlete. It's the same shit as Lamar. Same shit. Different day, different dollar, same shit. They're built differently. They look different. They're the same shit. Justin Fields looks like he's going to be kind of the same shit as Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, Ryan Tannehill, and any of those guys that if you don't prove you can win in the pocket, you're not going anywhere. But Mayfield, I got to say, 317 yards and a touchdown. I don't think he's that much, but give him credit. He's 2-0. Chiefs over the Jags, 17-9. Mahomes had 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. And then the Colts defeated Texas 31-Texans 31-20. Houston is now 0-2. Indy is 1-1. Anthony Richardson left with a concussion, another one. And if he doesn't learn to win from the pocket, you'll end up injured or out, or you're not going to win anything big like Josh Allen and Tannehill and Lamar Jackson and the rest of the running quarterbacks. Yes, sir.
Oh, I wanted your take on this because you're the gambler of the group here. The Rams,
yes,
3 seconds to go, set up and kick a field goal. They lose 30-23. Backdoor cover. The cover was 7.5. They set up for a field goal with 3 seconds to go. to make it 30-23 to the 7.5, or plus 7.5.
They weren't going to win for a touchdown either, right? So give the kicker some work. I get it now.
I guess, but if I put money on that game, I'd be so mad.
Yeah, how many seconds were left?
The clock expired as the ball was in the air.
Okay, so yeah, you can't even have an onside kick after you score if you had a Hail Mary or whatever. So yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, backdoor cover. Wow. That's one of those things that Van Pelt does, right? Isn't that one of those? What's that saying he has?
The bad beat.
The bad beat, right? That's it. That's a bad beat right there. You had it. There was no reason for them to do that. Aaron Baccio sent in a super chat, and he says, "Effing tell him, Big O." Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you. EM Baller, Dolphin fans wanted Sean Payton. He's not the same. I mean, he's doing something at least with Wilson overall, but I'm glad we got Mike McDaniel, man. I'm really glad. I'm just glad that they hired Chris Grier, dude. To be quite honest, that's what I'm super happy that they, hired Chris Grier and gave him the job and gave him the opportunity to actually, turn this franchise around, and that's exactly what he's doing. Okay. I want to give you the keys to the one key to this entire game, dude. And it's the most obvious. It's the simplest thing out there. It's cliche-ish, but it's the one key to this entire game. Okay. And I'll tell you, because I think Miami has the better quarterback. I think Miami has the better offense. Okay. There's no doubt I got to give the Patriots the better defense. Okay. But they're missing some pieces to their defense. That is, especially at the cornerback slot, you either have inexperience or a backup against the two best receivers a pair of the best receivers in the league. Because if Tyreek Hill and Waddle aren't the best pair, they're number 2 or number 3, worst case scenario. I don't know. For argument's sake, I don't really care, dude. You know what I'm saying? But they're easily top 3 in the league, okay? Easily. And you're playing a backup and a rookie. I kind of like my chances there. You know what I'm saying? So I like a lot of the things going on. I like where Miami's offense and their game plan is right now. I don't think you're facing a offense that is explosive in the Patriots. In fact, I look at Mac Jones as a guy that's actually a very conservative quarterback, to be quite honest. He's not a guy that is like Tua. Tua's got some balls, bro. Tua's got moxie. Tua will take chances and thread it into windows that there's no way Mac Jones would ever try to do, because he doesn't have the same kind of confidence. Tua has the confidence of a burglar, bro. Okay? That's the kind of guy he is. He's Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, hanging from the thing and like this, and and trying to work the computer and make sure you can't sweat and change the temperature of the room or anything and set off the. That's Tua, the guy that stays cool under pressure. Okay. I like this matchup for Miami. Miami has been in the driver's seat since Tua has been the quarterback. Plus, Tua is now in his second year in the same offense, and he's played Belichick 4 times already. So he knows a lot about the way Belichick attacks him. You know what this game is all coming down to? Miami's the better team. They should win. You know how's the only way they lose this game? Turnovers. Tua can't throw interceptions. Mostert can't fumble. Brooks can't fumble. Ahmed can't fumble. Waddle, he has a tendency of dropping balls, can't fumble. In one game last year, he cost them a game. Tyreek Hill doesn't really fumble a lot, but you can't. Jason Sanders, you can't have kicks blocked. You can't miss field goals. You can't miss extra points. You can't leave points on the field. Connor Williams, you can't be an idiot tonight. A bad snap can lose the game for you. You gave them a short field. They picked up a cheap 7 and beat you by a point or 2, like Christopher Price thinks it's going to happen. You know how the Patriots win by a point or 2 like Christopher Price? By Connor Williams doing something stupid. Okay? That's how they lose this game. By giving it away. By making mistakes. That's the only way the Patriots win this game tonight. In the postgame show, the only reason I should be talking about a Dolphins loss, it's because they effed up. Somebody screwed up or several people screwed up. I don't believe you'll get outplayed today. I don't believe you'll get outcoached today. I believe you can outcoach today. I believe you should outplay them today. But what will shorten the gap is the stupid mistakes. That's what's going on. A guy that doesn't block somebody and lets a rusher free and he blindsides Tua and there's the fumble. It's Mostert going into the hole and somebody punching out the ball. It's Jalen Waddle eating shit where he catches the ball and he's not paying attention, and when he turns one way, safety comes and punches the ball out and he fumbles. Something that has happened for Waddle, that he has had his share of fumbles. That's how you lose this game. You lose this game when you're snapping the ball and the holder fumbles the ball. And you leave points on the field. You cannot make mistakes today. You cannot go and commit a whole bunch of penalties and start killing drives. You cannot afford to do that with this team. They are going to be as disciplined as possible. They're going to try to make as few mistakes as possible because they cannot afford to make a lot of mistakes. But the Dolphins, the only way you're going to get in trouble in this game is with mistakes. If you stay away from the mistakes, if you stay away from the turnovers, simple. There's not a lot of, this scheme or this quarterback or that quarterback or this secondary or that second or this offensive line or that offensive. It's not about any of that. I think that equation has been solved. The better team is the Miami Dolphins. And the better team has been the Miami Dolphins when Tua Tagovailoa is your quarterback, 4-0. So that's already been solved. It's done. We don't need to have this conversation anymore. The Dolphins are the better team. Just play like it. Years ago, decades ago, the Dolphins went to the playoffs and met the same team, the New England Patriots. And they had a chance in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl for a rematch against the Chicago Bears. And the Chicago Bears only had one blemish on their schedule, one loss, and it was to the Dolphins in the Orange Bowl. The Dolphins walked into that game against the Patriots. This isn't the playoffs. This is only game 2. But they were the better team. Tippett and Lippett and everybody else on that team and all that good stuff, and they made an impact in that game. And they had a decent defense. There's no doubt about it. They had a pretty damn good defense. But Miami was the better team. Miami had 3 fumbles that night. Miami gave that game away. And then the Dolphins and the entire fan base then sat back and watched the New England Patriots go to a Super Bowl that they did not deserve to be at, and they got their asses handed to them because they did not deserve to be there. And why? Because the Miami Dolphins did not play up to their potential, and they lost. And they handed the game to the Patriots. Fast forward decades later, the same is not on the line because it's only week 2. But the same scenario is on the line. You're the better team. Play like it. Act like it. Don't give it away. Go in there. Go to Foxborough. You get a huge break. You're not going to Foxborough in December. You're not going to Foxborough in early January. In fact, you won't be going to Foxborough again this season because they're not going to the playoffs. But you got to do your job tonight. And your job tonight is to play up to your ability and don't have any brain farts. You stay away from the brain farts. You commit the less penalties. You commit the less mistakes. You stay away from turnovers. I guarantee you win this game by a touchdown. That's what I have the Dolphins winning by a touchdown in this game. I don't think it'll be as close as everybody. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because they have a good defense. But I think the Dolphins are going to win by a touchdown. That's why I laid the 2.5 earlier this week. That's why I took the money line earlier this week. Just like I took the points and the money line last week against the Chargers and won. Dolphins, play like you're supposed to play, and everything else is going to fall into place. I'm telling you. By the way, our friends at Baptist Health of South Florida, proud sponsors of our platform. And folks, you don't need to be a professional athlete like the Miami Dolphins. They go to Baptist Health of South Florida. And of course, Baptist Health Orthopedic Care can now see you. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to request an appointment and get yourself back in the game. So if you have an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, man, whether it's tennis, whether it's what's that new game, paddleball, or what's it called?
It's pickleball.
That's
and
it.
Also, sorry to interrupt here real quick. Hail Mary, the Broncos are 2-point conversion away from tying it up on the Commanders right now.
Look at that. Wow. That's crazy. Look at that. So it's not even a Hail Mary when you go to Baptist Health of South Florida. They are money. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to take advantage of the Hail Mary in life and pick up a football game and you want to get back into the game, call our friends at Baptist Health of South Florida so you can take charge of your health and get back in the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go see John Uribe and all the great people at Baptist Health of South Florida. Use that QR code right there. All right. And let's see what do you got for me?
2-point conversion, no good. Commanders hold on and win 35-33.
Okay. There you go. So all eyes now on our boys. And that's that's the beauty of tonight also. You've got the stage, man. It's all yours. McDaniel knows it. Tua knows it. Bradley Chubb, I hope you know it. Connor Williams, I hope you know it. Come on, man. Perform. Let's go. You were a 4:00 game last week. So there's less games always at 4:00. So more people saw your game also that switched over for their, ticket. Now you've got the nationally televised game. Now you're all by your lonesome on NBC, right? Sunday night is NBC. And so you've got NBC, you've got it all. Everybody's watching. This is a great time. And there you go. Next week, walk-ons, Denver Broncos, 11 a.m. We'll do the pregame and get you ready. So we'll see you there at walk-ons. We're going to have all kinds of prizes and giveaways. So join us. The EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show and postgame show at walk-ons in Kendall. So we'll be there 4 times this year, once a month. We are looking for another home now for the other games. We're working on that too. So still working on it. I'm trying to see if we can get another home for the other games, overall. And we appreciate it, by the way, everybody for supporting us. I think there was a super chat. Did I go over any of the super chats? Here we go. Let's see. Can you settle this debate between me and Rosendo? Okay. What is it? I'm saying that in today's game, offense wins chips. Yes. Yeah. Your defense has to be timely now, not carry you anymore, because the salary cap doesn't allow you to have richness on both sides of the ball, not for very long. Eventually, once you got to pay people, like the Niners are lucky and unlucky because they still need the stud quarterback, and maybe Brock Purdy's the guy. We shall find out because he hasn't been really put in those situations. But once you got to pay the quarterback, it just kind of changes the dynamics of everything. So yes, offense is now what carries, just like the NBA. Yeah, defense used to be also the key, but brother, offenses is what carries you now. It's an offensive game. The rules are made that way. So yeah, defense is to be timely, not dominant. It's just hard. There'll be times that somebody will come up with a dominant defense because they did so well drafting for the first couple of years of something, and they got a bunch of guys and they hit on them. But eventually those guys want to get paid. You can't keep them all. You know what I mean? So once in a while, you'll have that cycle like the Marlins in 03, that they had a whole bunch of young guys, like the Royals of like 16. They had all those young guys, and they caught lightning in a bottle for 1 year. They couldn't keep them all because they're cheap organizations. But for 1 year, they were able to draft enough and have them under control that they had enough talent to win it, just with sprinkled little veterans inside of it. Not a lot of veterans on any of those teams, which is not normal in baseball. So it can happen, which is what I think this Marlins organization, they're trying to do the same bullshit. That's the only way they win. Lightning in a bottle, controlled players, all that, because they're not going to spend, So that's the problem in today's NFL, that the cap has changed all that. The money has changed. Everything you got to pay the players. Unless you go on 3 or 4 drafts in a row that you hit, like on 5 or 6 guys, and your team gets loaded, that's the only way you can be dominant on defense and offense in the NFL. But if not, there'll be an imbalance. Like that's what the Dolphins were forever. All defense, very little offense, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, no, I would go with offense nowadays is what carries you more than defense. Look at last week. They bent and broke and bent and broke. And then at the end, they got their sacks and they stopped them for the drive they needed, and the game was over. And you didn't need a dominant defense. You just needed a timely defense. And that's what those guys did last week. Very interested now that Jalen Phillips is out. Bradley Chubb, bro, get your ass in gear. I better not see 0 sacks and a bad game by Bradley Chubb today, because then, I gave him a break last week. Rashawn Slater, Raekwon Davis, you're in a contract year. By the way, you want it, you asked for it, you got it. Rashawn Slater, let's go. You want your money at the end of the year? You didn't get your contract, bro. They didn't even pick up your option. They're not. You're playing out your contract, and that's it. Are you going to get anything? We'll find out. But I gave you last week, you were against Corey Lindsey, one of the best centers in the league. I gave Chubb a little bit of a break. He was going up against Rashawn Slater. The only 2 really good linemen on the Chargers, those guys were facing. I'll give you a break. This week, Bradley Chubb is facing a backup. There are no excuses. Okay? Raekwon's still facing, and Andrews a pretty good center. But Bradley Chubb, get your ass in gear, bro. Get your ass in gear. Get your ass in gear. Brock Purdy made some really bad throws today. Deep throws were off. Yeah, we don't really know if he's that good or anything. He might be just a game manager because they're loaded with talent. He's just a jag. You know what I'm saying? Hey, by the way, have they proven they can draft quarterbacks? I must have missed it. Have they? Because they have proven that they know how to swing and miss better than anybody else. Because they spent 3 first-rounders and a third-rounder on the kid that they just gave away for a 4th-rounder. And Brock Purdy, that might have been an aberration what he did last year. What he did was he made a couple throws and got it to playmakers because they're loaded on that team. Loaded. Very few offenses have better talent than the San Francisco 49ers from the line to the talent, to the skill positions. So there's a good chance that Brock Purdy is a fraud. Let's get that shit out there, okay? There's a very good chance he's a fraud, and he just had a nice year where people didn't know who he was and all that, and then eventually they figure him out. It's happened a lot in this league. Big O, what's up with Herbert? Does the media still think he'll be all that? I don't know. You're going to have to ask those people that thought he was the second coming. You guys are going to have to ask those writers, those TV people, those radio people, you know, all those people that kept bragging, oh, he's the wrong guy and all that kind of stuff, right? You're going to have to ask them. What are they doing? You know, show me. What are they doing? It's always a double standard. When Justin Herbert, if Tua was 0-2, bro, he would be getting fried. But Justin Herbert, you know, he's the golden child. It's amazing. Double standard. Oh, you know, Tua is the only guy, you know, that hits his head when he falls down. You know, nobody does that, right? Nobody, when they get thrown to the ground, you know, they don't slam their heads. That never happens, dude. Has anybody ever seen that? Because I've never seen that. Only Tua is the only guy that hits his head when he gets thrown backwards. It's pretty amazing. You know? But are they going to, by the way, are we going to tell Anthony Richardson to think about retirement? Well, oh my God. Kenny Pickett had two concussions. Nobody told him to retire. What happens? Oh my God. What happens if Anthony Richardson suffers another concussion? What are we doing? Are we telling him to retire? Is that what we're doing? Just wondering. Right? I mean, if we're gonna do the double standard thing, what the hell? Same exact thing that happened to Tua. I guess he's going to have to take jiu-jitsu also now. I guess he's going to have to strengthen his neck. I guess he may have to think of retirement. Poor kid. I hope he's all right. He better learn how to win from the pocket. Okay? Because he'll suffer the same fate all these other running quarterbacks do. I don't know if he can. That's for damn sure. But I've kind of made my point with that over and over and over and over again with that one. Poor kid. Tom Wilson, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, Fins up, Big O. Fan since 1990s QAM days. Gilson family listening in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Thank you, Gilson family. I appreciate you all out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very cool. We got Dolphins everywhere, bro. Everywhere. True Fin fan says, see you next Sunday. Thanks for settling the debate. Yeah, I mean, things have changed, man. Offense, and it's passing. Not just offense, it's passing that makes the difference in football nowadays. That's really the difference overall. And this is why I think now the Dolphins have changed, because they've got the better passer. And they have the better passer in the AFC East, by the way. The best passer. Better than Josh Allen, that's for damn sure. And better than the guy he's facing tonight. I mean, do we really have to talk about the MILF master? I don't think so, right? Anyway, defense obviously needs to pressure the hell out of Mac Jones, a conservative QB that you can make him even more conservative. I think it's very important. Fangio didn't attack Herbert till the end. So let me ask you something. Last week, he saved the blitzes till the end, which I thought it ended up to be, pretty cool because it was really frustrating, all of us watching them run all over them. But it almost like you were, I mentioned it last week in the postgame show when Rocky wanted to switch to southpaw and he's going through the whole fight, and then Mick says, "Okay, do the switch now." And no, and all that, and then eventually he switches at the end, and it's kind of like the same thing. They lulled them to sleep with base defense, and then all of a sudden they whipped out the blitzes, and they got there with several different people, and it was the end of the game. That's what decided that game. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. You got big receivers. You got an explosive arm in Justin Herbert. So you tried to keep everything up front, and that's the way you played. Do you have to play that game this week? Is Mac Jones the guy that you're afraid of that's going to be taking a whole bunch of deep shots? Is this the wide receiving core that you fear downfield that much? Not really. Not really. They're tight ends. They're active. I know Gesicki will be part of it. I don't know how much, you got Javon Holland and company. I don't think the safeties are going to be dominating in this game. They'll be used because, again, Mac Jones is conservative. What did I tell you earlier this week, right? I gave you the stat earlier this week on the show. Here we go. Mac Jones last week completed 35 of 54 passes. They allowed him to pass the ball 54 times. He completed 35. 19 of his 35 went to running backs and tight ends. You think 19 of 35 for the Dolphins go to tight ends or running backs? Or do you think the receivers are the bigger portion of the chunk of it? Yeah, right? Because there's a difference. They're going to be farther downfield and all that good stuff. Not the yak, because it's not about the yak, okay? Because last week, folks, Tua threw for 466 yards. Herbert threw for 229 yards, okay? Tua had air yards of 310. Herbert had 43 air yards. Okay, so that means Tua had only 156 yards of yak after the catch. And he threw for 466. So 310 was in the air, as I told you. This guy threw for 229. He had 185 on yak. I heard somebody, I forgot where it was, on national television, this and that. It was Belichick. That, that their offense lives on yak, and it's actually not true. Actually, Tua had some of the lower yak yards last year. He had some of the higher air yards last year. But again, it's the same bullshit that goes on, and that's Belichick. Belichick's getting it wrong. I can't help you if you're going to spew misinformation. That's Tua lives off yak. No, he doesn't actually. He actually gets some of the lesser yak yards. Tua has some of the harder passing trees in the NFL. Most quarterbacks cannot do what Tua does. That's the part that people still haven't realized. The amount of pressure that McDaniel put on Tua last week was enormous. Justin Herbert folds El Tento and throws several interceptions last week if he is forced to do what Tua did last week. Justin Herbert. I'm not even going to mention lesser passers like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Ryan Tannehill or somebody like that. I'm not even going to mention those guys because those guys can't even, But Herbert, not necessarily. He's also another check down Charlie. For all the talent he has, he doesn't have the cojones that Tua does. Tua does stuff. Last week, he threw a really, I have to call it a dumb pass, but he tried to throw it to Waddle in between three people. It was insanity. It's ridiculous. But it shows you that he has zero fear. And he doesn't fear the mistake. And when he makes the mistake, it's not going to stop him from continuing. That's what it's Tua's a very interesting athlete in this sense that he has to, it's something that he has to balance and McDaniel has to balance. Okay? Follow me on this. He's a very aggressive player. As you've watched, remember last year he put a shoulder into somebody and it was like, yo, dude, you just came back from a concussion, you asshole. What the hell's wrong with you? What are you doing putting a shoulder into somebody? And he goes to the sideline, oh, coach, I needed that for me. That whole bullshit of I need to get tackled and then I feel better and all that kind of crap. And it's like, yo, bro, you're the quarterback. You don't need to put a shoulder into anybody at all. Okay? And so this is who he is. He'll hold on to the ball longer than he should, like he did last year and the years before, and he'll get in trouble. And he'll get walloped. And that's because he's wanting to make a play. He'll throw into windows that are this tight. He'll throw in between 2, 3, 4 guys. Now, here's the problem. The problem is balance. And the problem is, if you're Mike McDaniel, you also have to watch out. You cannot mess with the ingredients. Because if you mess with the ingredients, you end up with new Coke. And then everybody's pissed off because it doesn't taste like classic Coke and you fuck up the entire, recipe. Give me back my old Coke. Give me back my old Tua. So you can't hammer Tua away and make him conservative. So he has to have that edge that he plays with. You don't want him to sell out his body, but you still want him to be that aggressor, because if you're not an aggressor as a quarterback, you are not great. The great quarterbacks are aggressors. The great quarterbacks will test defenses, will test great corners, will test great coverage, and will beat it. That's what they do. But if you put him in a shell, then all of a sudden you're going to lose his edge. So he personally has to balance, like he did last week when he threw it down to the floor, when he rolled to the right, when he ran up the middle and he slid. Didn't put a shoulder into somebody. Didn't try to fake him out. Didn't try to get an extra 2 yards. I forgot what quarterback I saw today that was running down the sidelines, had a shot to go out of bounds, but then faked and went back inside, and I'm like, and took on a hit, and I'm like, kid, what are you doing? You're the quarterback. Just keep going outside. Live for the next play. You got 2 extra yards for a hit. It's not worth it, moron. You can end up injured, and your team needs you. I forgot which quarterback I was watching because it was the red zone, and so I was watching so many different things. But it's an interesting balance because as a coach, you want him to be more responsible with his body, but you also don't want him to lose his aggressiveness. As a player, you need to stay aggressive. As a receiver, you got to go down the middle. Doesn't matter if you're going to get hit. That's part of the game. If you're a running back, you can't keep running to the outside. You got to go in between the tackles. Hey, you're going to have to be a hammer. That's just kind of the way it goes. If you're a quarterback, you're going to have to hold on to that ball for that last second and wait for that route to break so you can throw it at the right time. And the linebacker is barreling down on you, but you got to take that hit, but you got to wait until you deliver it. It's all part of the game. But it's part of the aggressiveness of that. That's one of the things I didn't like about Ryan Tannehill. Not only does his brain get scattered when things go awry, he doesn't have that aggressive nature to him. I don't believe Justin Herbert has that aggressive nature to him, by the way. I don't believe Mac Jones has that aggressive nature to him, actually. I think Mac is a little bit more worried because he knows he doesn't have the skill set. Like, he has limited talent, so he's afraid, whereas Justin Herbert's just afraid, even though he has all the ability in the world, because he doesn't play with balls. And that's the difference. Tua plays with way more balls than Justin Herbert does. Justin Herbert's not going to put a shoulder into anybody. crazy ass Tua will do that. And it's an interesting dynamic when you are aggressive as a player, right? Aggressive as a salesperson, right? Aggressive as whatever it is that you do in life as a businessman or woman out there. It's part of it. It's what gives you the edge. It's maybe why you're a great real estate agent. You know, maybe it's the reason why William Quigley builds the best landscaping company. Starts with one lawnmower. Now he's got like 70, 80 trucks and got a ginormous building dominating all of South Florida. You know, that's kind of the way it is because you're aggressive and you have that edge that you bring it. Brett Gittleman at Caneswear. I've watched that man go from a warehouse, from a freaking warehouse into retail store and bigger retail store to bigger retail store. I've watched Nick Perdomo build his cigar company from his garage. The garage in his house was his first warehouse. How do you like them apples? Now he's got a ginormous factory in Nicaragua. He's got, obviously, you know, the big factory there right off the Palmetto. It's an aggressive nature that people have, and this is why they become successful. You know, I look at it with EJD Construction and watch how Eric grows. Eric can't even do Palm Beach. He's so busy with Dayton Broward. Can't do Monroe, can't do Palm Beach because he is so freaking busy. You know, it's an edge that these people bring. It's the same edge that Tua has and he plays with. But it's interesting. It's a dynamic that needs to be balanced. And this past week, I saw really nice balance from Tua. Awareness in the pocket, getting rid of the football. I mean, he always has awareness, not like Tannehill, lack of awareness, or Herbert, by the way, at times. But what I mean by awareness of quick decision, get rid of the football. And I also love that Mike McDaniel is game planning it too to assist his quarterback because his quarterback, because of the way he game planned it, he is forcing his quarterback to make a quick decision. And luckily, this is a guy that can read and decipher quickly and deliver the ball accurately on time. And so that has helped out too. So again, play design and play call and all that becomes so important for success and for sustainability too when we're talking about Tua Tagovailoa. Please smash the hell out of the like button, folks. Okay, smash it. And remember, watch hours, view as much as you can of the platform. That helps us in an immense way. If you got to walk away, let it play. Big O, Herbert or Tannehill? LOL. Mac Jones looks like a car salesman. He looks like he sells school supplies. 5 people picking the Pats and 4 people picking the Phinz. Well, last week they were all picking the Chargers pretty much. Why is it most Fortune 500 companies had humble beginnings from the garage? All I have is stuff I don't want to throw out. It's the drive. That's why people like Nick Perdomo and William Quigley and Eric, they are, special. Eric Scarborough is special because he works his ass off, dude. And I see it. And he builds a hell of a business. And Brett Gittleman does the same thing. Doesn't stop ever, bro. Ever. It's always growing and moving on to the next one, which is a beautiful thing. Let's see. Dustin, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, 31-year-old Canadian Phinz fan. Since 2004, it's been nothing but pain. I'm finally jumping for joy with Greer's roster. Am I dreaming? Pinch me. No, you are not dreaming. You are not dreaming, baby. You are in the real zone. You are with a team that is really on the rise. It's what we haven't had in a long time, a real front office, a good front office since Bobby Beathard. This is your best coach since Don Shula. This is your best quarterback since Dan Marino. You following me? This is your best offense since the early 90s and the 80s. And it could be a better offense than that one. Maybe not at the quarterback spot, but everywhere else might end up becoming better when it's all said and done. So to me, this is where, that's why I keep telling you, I go back to the beginning of the show when I told you, please enjoy the moment. Stop allowing people to, kind of get in your way. And then you worry about all this bullshit that you don't have to worry about. This is like really happening. I know it's hard because it's been 20 years of crappiness, but you deserve better and you're getting it. Finally. You're finally getting it. You're finally getting what you deserve. It's pretty cool. So yeah, enjoy yourselves. This is actually really happening. We're going to see tonight because you got no Trent Brown, you got no City Sal. Okay. So it looks like Viridian Lowe will be the left tackle. Antonio Mafi will be the left guard. Wait a minute. No, it'll be City Sal. I'm sorry. Then David Andrews, the center. Then James Ferentz or Jake Andrews will be the guard. And then you've got Calvin Anderson as a right tackle. They've got a makeshift line, dude. They've got a bunch of injuries there. They can take advantage of this. Yes, sir.
Belichick starting with the head games, starting early with the head games. Mike Gesicki led the Patriots onto the field to take on the Dolphins.
Okay. I mean, I love Gesicki to death, bro. I miss him, bro. I get it. He doesn't fit what they do here, but I'm not really worried about that, to be quite honest, because Mac Jones doesn't scare me. George Gonzalez says, props to the Marlins. Swept television Braves and outscored them 36-13. Amazing. It's amazing. If they just get to the playoffs, it's one of the great, because, they normally, what they've done over the years, they've been that team that's a couple games under 500, a couple games over 500, but just short of the playoffs. For them just to get to the playoffs would be absolutely phenomenal. Because I kind of expected them to fall short, but they have hung in there, dude. They have hung in there, man. So, hopefully, Big O, I'll wait until January to decide. Decide what? What's there to decide? What do you got for me, Sean?
Florio picked the Dolphins. Him and Matthew are the only two analysts that took. Everybody else took the Patriots.
Well, I'm taking the Dolphins. I'm giving the 2.5 points. I'm taking the money line. And thanks to Christopher Price for joining us. Thanks to Sean Stanley, who masters this entire platform every single day, doing an awesome job. And we appreciate him. We thank all of you for tuning in. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. View as much as you can of the channel. Rants, interviews, whatever. Watch hours are very important. So we appreciate all of you. We will be back for a very happy post-game show, a victorious post-game show. That's what I'm expecting when we come back. David Furones will join us straight from the locker rooms. And Safedine will also give us his thoughts on what happened tonight. So we've got two insiders joining us, along with yours truly and Sean Stanley. When we come back, you now go enjoy yourselves, okay? Enjoy the Miami Dolphins kicking some New England Patriots ass. We'll see you after the game right here on the EJDconstruction.com postgame show.
This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Show. From home to kitchen to bathroom additions and remodelings, get in contact with one of the best contractors in the business. Call Eric at EJDconstruction.com, 305-433-4843. Please subscribe to our platform by searching Big O Radio Show on all digital avenues. We'll be back with a complete wrap-up of the game once the last second ticks off the clock. Thank you for your support and enjoy Dolphins football.